Hello and welcome to our first video. We're out here in the garden, and as you can see, these peppers are done for the year. What I wanted to show you was this new method I learned of gardening. It takes a lot of your work and throws it away. You don't have to hardly do anything. Now these peppers, you can see, there's a little bit of weeds here and there, but there's not really much, is there? Would you believe that these hadn't been hoed since before August? What I've done is I put layer after layer of old rotting hay. Look at that. Look where this is rotted down, how good that looks. It smothers the weeds and rots down into really good dirt. So then you have nothing around your plants. You don't have all that back-breaking hoeing and weed pulling. And if you are just doing a garden this size by yourself, or just with a couple of kids to help you, that makes a huge difference. But you can see, just any old hay will do. You can look right through here. There's nothing. It's all killed. And this will sit until next year, and I'll plant some more stuff in here in the spring, which hopefully it'll rot enough to where I can put some root crops in it, because this is going to be real good and deep by the time that comes around. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of hay that we're going to be putting here. And let me step over here. We're going to lengthen all of our beds out. The end of that is 100 feet. So all the way to here and back out here is 100 feet. And you can put quite a bit of stuff in 100 feet. And this is a floating row cover, and you can see our brassicas underneath here. A lot of them did not survive that freeze because it went so suddenly from a regular temperature to just really cold. But you can see there's quite a few of them that are still alive, and a lot of them, the cores are alive, so they'll come back. I'm going to move these hoop frames over here on top of them and put some greenhouse plastic to make a low tunnel, and they ought to be good for the rest of the year. Show you here what I mean by the cores still being alive. See right here? See how green and supple that middle part is? See, this is just fine. It'll live. Now, I'm going to take you over here to see some of our other stuff. You can see the remains of our tomatoes. We had these 3 whole rows in tomatoes right here. This one, and this one. And you can see they go as far as that 100-foot bed up there. So we had 300 feet in just tomatoes. And down here, we don't do as much permanent stuff with this section because it does flood a little bit. The last year's flood, it got all the way up to here. So that's pretty impressive. It was a bad flood. This right here, the seed machine we use decided to spit them out really weird, so they just come up everywhere. And I left them alone. And here is our lettuce, which you can see it's got some frost burn on it, but that's okay. Just the tips. On the other side of that is our beets, which are doing really good. They're covered, as you can see. See, this did a lot better through here. These are about done, and not just because of the temperatures, but as you can see, we've been harvesting these like crazy, and they have just done so great. See back in there? There's some pretty big ones in here. There's some nice ones there. Now, the carrots, they did a little weird. It rained harder than expected right after we planted them. So they went everywhere. They just washed all over the place. The carrot seed is like really super tiny. And the littlest thing can wash them out. But there's one, there's one, there's one. There's supposed to be 2 rows of them. And there's some way, way out here. See this one hiding? They're just all over the place. There's one way over here. See it? That rain just made them go everywhere. But, you know, that's actually pretty good because carrots need some space to get maximum size. And this saved me from having to thin them. So, win. These are so pretty. They're a lot more resistant to the cold than the green lettuces for some reason. But my family doesn't like them as much. But they sell a lot better. Oh, somebody decided to pick some turnips. Look how good those look. So you can see here, we've actually got some mulch right along the side. Just to show how good it does. No weeding. I mean, that is the best thing ever. Weeding took up so much of my time. Now, I didn't get a lot done with the tomatoes here because I was so busy with my internship all summer. But I just didn't have time. I barely got the 1 row of peppers here. But you can see how long our row is. Over there's our swamp monster, Aries. He's hunting grasshoppers and stuff. He loves coming out here with us and doing this. There are so many vegetables that benefit from this mulching method. It's crazy. Right here, if you can see, all the way to the end of that mulch, this is where our garlic is. And I'll move this aside. Can you see the garlic? It's just starting to sprout a little bit. That's about what you want at this time of year for it. You want it to just start sprouting just a little bit, and then you want the cold to stop it. Cover that back up, Denver. That way, it's got a good root system developed for spring, and you get a bigger head of garlic at the end of the growing season. This bed right here is just an empty bed that we've been working on. See, my husband, he took the manure from last winter that composted from the sheep, used our tractor, and dumped it out here. And we're laying the mulch on top and getting bedded ready for next year. Up there you can see our potato bed, which when we start doing that, I'll make a video just on that. But to give you an idea, this hay was rolled out a lot earlier than that other hay. But it's only a single layer, unlike the peppers, which have like 3 layers, I think. But you can see how much it's killed at the grass. Except for whatever that is. I hate that plant. It has a root like 5 miles long on it. But you can see, look under this, how it's killed the grass out. And look at that dark dirt underneath there. Just from the hay rotting. That means I don't have to till on this. And when we start our potatoes, I put another layer of hay, preferably rotting, that's been sitting out all winter. We'll put our potatoes right on top of that, and then we'll just cover them in 1 more layer of hay. And you might be saying, that's crazy, that couldn't possibly work. I got to see for myself that working when I was working my internship. That's how my bosses did it. And it's so